We are going to be talking about business drivers and how Lean Six Sigma helped to achieve those drivers, and where did actually Lean Six Sigma start, in what kind of industry, and what was the trigger for it to start. All of those points will be covered in this section. First of all, let's talk about the big picture of business transformation. You typically hear about business objectives that organizations try to achieve, and they are typically fall in the following objectives. One, they are trying to improve their quality of the service or the product they are selling or providing. They also try to increase the speed of how they deliver or produce so that the end customers would be happier with the faster results. Sometimes also they try to minimize risk as they go through their business delivery model. And ultimately, they try to reduce the cost associated with building the business or building the products or providing the service. And when we look at how industries try to achieve those objectives, they rely on methodologies or tools so that it helps the different business lines within the organization to achieve those different objectives. Here are a few things that we typically hear or companies use when they try to achieve some of their business objectives. So the first one that you hear is design thinking. And this is really about trying to understand the customer needs and having that empathy phase that really help you to design a service or a product that really meets the customer requirements. But the differentiation of this tool is having that empathy emphasis on how you design your service. The second one is the Lean Six Sigma, which is very deeply rooted in the manufacturing industry, and we will get into that. But essentially, it's trying to find ways to create value efficiently and eliminate waste in your end-to-end processes. The third one is the Agile methodology, which is how you execute your projects or how you deliver your product or services. And essentially, it is a method that you do in an incremental way. You try to build your product in phases with minimum requirements that you will test out in the market, and you get more feedback and you rebuild the product as you go through this iterative methodology. Automation is a big lever of improvements to derive efficiencies. Whether you're using technology or you're using some tools like robotic process automation, those tools help to leverage technologies essentially to free up the human capacity from mundane tasks that could be done automatically. And obviously, organizational design is essential to having an effective organization where you strategically source and structure your workforce around key roles and responsibilities to deliver the products or services that your organization is offering. But in this course, we will heavily focus on just the Lean Six Sigma side of it. And one thing to keep in mind, there is not one solution that would work for your organization. You really have to customize the approach and options that would really be good fit for your organization and what you're trying to achieve. So those tools are marketed individually, but you really have to think critically on what would work best. And one layer that you kind of have to always keep in mind is the technology consideration. You always want to have a high return on your investments on what you're going to use. So if you're going to be using automation, try to have that return of investment analysis to see if it's worth pursuing. So what is really the purpose of Lean Six Sigma methodologies? Well, as we said previously, it's the business drivers, whether we want to improve the customer satisfaction, increase our market share or revenue. We want to also reduce our cost and increase our speed of delivery. Those are really typical objectives, and you will find many different ones, but essentially they fall in one of these categories. So, but why Lean Six Sigma is a good tool? So, Lean Six Sigma has been proven historically that it's a really good approach that help organization to accomplish those business objectives. So it has been tested out there, it has been done in many different industries, and that's why many organizations tend to use this and implement it as part of their culture and practices. We want to talk about the origin of Lean Six Sigma. If we want to really talk about the Lean Six Sigma principles, it actually started a long time ago. If you look at the manufacturing industries in the early 1900s, when car manufacturing companies started responding to the high demands and meeting customer demands, they implemented a lot of the Lean Six Sigma principles. And not until Toyota was the pioneer of really wrapping all the principles into a proven methodology and framework, and their aim was to really increase the productivity and be able to compete globally with different manufacturing or different car companies. And one of their key shift was the cultural shifts, where they emphasize on respecting the people and the development of Lean Six Sigma throughout the different functions of their organization, so that you have that continuous improvement mindset, and it's achieved huge success. So a lot of other companies started really emphasizing on the Lean Six Sigma principles, such as General Electric, the Johnson and Johnson, and it started moving its way to other industries like the food and beverage companies, the pharmaceutical, even in the high fashion of retailers. They started really using that Lean Six Sigma methodology. And recently, in the last 20 years, it started making its way into the service/administration industries, such as financial institutions and banking, hospital and healthcare, airline, consulting firms. And this dramatic shift of adopting Lean Six Sigma is due to the success of implementing Lean Six Sigma throughout the different industries. So I wanted to give some key examples from various industries of their success stories of implementing Lean Six Sigma. And as I said previously, General Electric was one of the pioneer after Toyota to really drive on efficiencies and finding ways to continuously improve their manufacturing line. So as you can see from the first example, they were able to reduce invoice defects and disputes with key customers by 98%. They improved the key call center performance measure from 76 to 99%. Variation, which is a really key principle in Lean Six Sigma. GE was able to reduce the variation in power system rotors by 300%. They were able to develop breakthrough technology that reduced the medical scan times from 3 minutes to 30 seconds, and reducing cycle times is one of the key principles in Lean Six Sigma. Bank of Montreal is another firm from the financial space where they were able to implement Lean Six Sigma to reduce their errors, improve the cycle times, eliminated various type of weights that we will also uncover in this course. And from implementing that Lean Six Sigma, they were able to annualize a saving of 55 million over a 5-year benefit period with just an investment of 5.3 million. So if you think about that, that's like 10 times the return of investments, just due to the ability to use Lean Six Sigma principles. And the last example is from the health and care industries, where Ellis Medicine saved almost 1.8 million, and MC Assembly inspired rapid change using the Lean Six Sigma. And there are so many different success stories. If you browse the internet and look for success stories in a specific industry that you're interested in, you will find tremendous examples on how Lean Six Sigma were implemented in various industries, and also you could find out about the nature of projects that are specific to the industry that you are focusing on.